All right, in this video, I'm going to look at graphing. So graphing, I'm going to go over kind of quickly because I think I've already explained almost everything that's going to be in here, okay? When you're graphing, you want to figure out what all of the different parts are that we've already been finding. So you want to find the zeros, the vertical asymptotes, the horizontal asymptotes, the slant asymptotes, and the holes. You want to find all of those parts. So the first thing that you're going to do is find the zeros. Well, the first thing you're going to do is actually factor it out. So let's say that it gives me this guy. The first thing you want to do is factor the top and the bottom. So this is going to be x minus 6, x plus 2. This is going to be x plus 2, x minus 2. My zeros are going to come from this part, this part. So it's going to be a 6 and a negative 2. My vertical asymptote is going to come from this part. X equals negative 2 and 2. Notice that I have a 0 that is also a vertical asymptote. So those guys are going to cancel each other out, and it's going to become a hole. Horizontal asymptote, I have to look at the degrees. The degrees are the same. So I divide the leading coefficient by the leading coefficient, which is 1 divided by 1, which is 1. Since I have a horizontal asymptote, I do not have a slant asymptote. And I have a hole at x equals negative 2. So to graph this guy out, I want to put all of the values onto the graph. So what does that mean? I'm going to put my vertical asymptote at x equals 2. And I'm going to draw it as a dashed line. I'm going to put my horizontal asymptote at y equals 1. I'm going to put all the asymptotes always as a dashed line. There's no slant asymptote, and there is a hole at negative 2. So that means wherever the value is here, it's going to skip over that. I also have a 0 at 6. So that means it crosses the x-axis there. So what does that mean that happens? Well, these should be my asymptotes. That means that it should never cross this, which means that it should look like this. But if it looks like this, it doesn't hit this 0. So there is a rule. You can actually cross your horizontal asymptote in a range that is close to 0. So you're going to look at values close, like between negative 10 and 10. So for x values between negative 10 and 10. It has to be something really close to the origin. And so you're usually going to find it in between negative 10 and 10. So what that means is it just comes down for a second, hits that, and then comes back up. And that's what it's going to look like. Or it could also mean that it goes steadily down and then back up. But it's going to be something along these lines. This one is going to be exactly how the highlighter looks. So you have a hole at negative 2, which means that you're going to put a circle right here showing that that value gets skipped over. And that's what you're looking at on these guys. So let's not worry too much about the special cases where it does jump across the horizontal asymptote. You're only going to find that when you actually look at it on a calculator. The only other way to do it would be to actually plug in every single value. If you have a 0 that makes it jump across, just do what I did right here. Jumps across and comes back up. That's all that you really need to do. Okay? I'm going to do one that's, I guess, a little bit harder. Let's see what I got here. So what we're going to do is the first thing that we're going to look at is zeros, vertical asymptotes, horizontal asymptotes, slant asymptotes, and holes. So I'm going to try to factor this out. What happens when I factor that out is it's going to be x and 3x plus 1. The bottom is just going to be x plus 1. So my zeros are going to be what makes the numerator equal to 0, which is going to be 0 and negative 1/3. My vertical asymptote is what makes the denominator equal to 0, and it needs to be x equals. There's no repeat, so that means that there is no whole. The horizontal asymptote, I need to look. The degree on top is higher than the degree on bottom, so that means that there is no horizontal asymptote, but there is a slant asymptote. So I need to divide what's on top by what's on bottom. 3x squared divided by x is going to be 3x, and then I multiply times both of them, 3x squared plus 3x. Put it in parentheses so I remember to subtract them both. These cancel out. X minus 3x is negative 2x. I can't actually divide that. That's going to give me negative 2, and then I multiply. Put it in parentheses so I remember to subtract it. This cancels out. I don't have anything here, so it's 0 minus negative 2 is 2. Can't divide that, so it's a remainder, so it doesn't really matter. So we have a slant asymptote at y equals 3x minus 2. I'm going to put that put those values down. So I have a 0 at 0 and negative 1/3. So I'll make that negative 1. So this is negative 1/3. It's going to cross at both of these points. I have a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 1. So this guy is going to come up and down right here. And I have a slant asymptote at y equals 3x minus 2. So start at negative 2, go up 3. 1, 2, 3, and over 1. 1. And then make this dashed line. So it's got to cross with both of these, so this means that this is going to go on forever in this direction. And it's going to change direction right here and go on forever in that direction. And then it's also going to do it down here. And that's it. I'm sure that there's going to be more difficult problems on the ones that I actually make you guys do. So please ask questions.